Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into, well, a pretty complex world research peptides. We're specifically looking at one company making some big claims, like spectacular purity over 99%.
Right. And this is where, serious biochemistry kind of crashes into the whole biohacking scene.
Hmm.
Our job today is to sift through the claims, the sources we've got, and figure out what this really means for you, the potential user.
Yeah, because you see these terms like automated peptide synthesizers. Sounds very high-tech, very clean.
And it does sound impressive.
Hmm.
But the first thing, the absolute context here is that these are not supplements you pick up at the store. These compounds are operating in a, let's call it a significant legal gray area, exploiting a loophole, really.
Okay, tell us more about that loophole, because the label clearly says not for human consumption.
Exactly. That's the core of it. They label it for research use only.
Hmm.
And that wording intentionally sidesteps FDA approval, consumer safety laws, all of it.
So they can sell these potent biochemicals without actually proving they're safe or effective.
Precisely. The entire burden, all the risk, the quality control, it lands squarely on the person buying it. The company takes on, well, very little liability that way.
Huh. So how does that 99% purity claim stack up against, say, their transparency? Because that seems like a conflict.
It's a huge conflict.
Yeah.
Look, that 99% figure, maybe it's accurate the second it comes out of their fancy synthesizer in a controlled lab. Maybe. But our source have found this company advertises American-made peptides.
Right, I saw that. Sounds reassuring.
It sounds reassuring. But when people actually ask, okay, can you prove it's made here? They reportedly refused, wouldn't show proof of origin.
Wow, okay, so the manufacturing might actually be happening somewhere else entirely.
It strongly suggests that possibility. And if that's the case, without oversight you could verify that initial 99% number, it becomes kind of meaningless pretty fast. Quality control could be anything.
And that lack of transparency, that refusal, it actually explains a lot about the user feedback we found, doesn't it? It's incredibly polarized. You got people saying, this stuff is amazing, works fast, exactly as expected.
Yeah, they swear by it. Fast shipping, great results, they say.
But then you have just as many, maybe more, saying the exact opposite, calling the products complete duds or bunk compared to peptides they got elsewhere.
And that difference, that inconsistency, it's almost certainly because there's no real standardization. Think about it. We're talking about compounds meant to tweak your hormones, your cellular repair processes, really deep biological functions.
So if one batch is good and the next is weak or contaminated.
The results will be all over the map. A dud batch just wastes your time and money, which is frustrating. But a bad batch, one contaminated during synthesis or maybe packaging, could be getting residual solvents, heavy metals, even the wrong peptide sequence. That's genuinely risky.
So this isn't just about one company's claims then, it sounds more like an industry-wide issue, this whole research peptide market.
It really is the Wild West. That legal loophole we mentioned means minimal formal rules, almost zero requirements for standardized independent testing.
So companies can just make these bold claims about purity based on their own internal checks.
Essentially, yes. It's often a self-certification model. They might show you an internal report, but who's verifying it? Who's checking their methods? That lack of independent third-party verification, that should be a massive alarm bell for anyone thinking about using these things.
Okay, so let's make this practical for the listener. If you're looking into this, maybe considering trying these compounds, what's the absolute crucial thing you need to demand?
Two non-negotiables. First, demand a verified manufacturing location. Where is this stuff actually being made? Second, and maybe even more critical, you need current verifiable third-party testing certificates, a certificate of analysis, or COA.
And not just any COA, right? What should you look for on it?
Exactly. Don't just glance at the purity percentage. That number alone can be misleading or even faked.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make sure the test also confirms the absence of contaminants, things like heavy metals, leftover chemical solvents from the synthesis, or even bacterial endotoxins. And it should verify the peptide sequence itself.
Basically, you have to become your own quality control expert in this space. You really need to think critically.
You absolutely do, because the market is so poorly regulated.
Which brings us to the final thought, maybe something for you to chew on after this.
Yeah, ask yourself this. Given this lack of standard testing, given the reliance on a legal loophole that seems to protect the seller more than the buyer, how confident can you really be that what you're putting into your body is actually helping your cellular biology? Or is it just, slick marketing promises wrapped around some mystery powder from who knows where?
So what's the next step for someone wanting to be sure?
Maybe investigate how the best independent labs actually test these things. Look into techniques like HPLC and mass spectrometry, understand what good verification looks like, and make that your minimum standard before you even consider buying.